What if I told you one of the bloodiest religious wars in history didn't happen in the Middle East? It happened on a small green island off the coast of Europe, an island where kings fell, empires clashed, and a famine killed over 1 million people, all before the modern world even noticed. This is the untold story of Ireland, how it was broken in two, how centuries of rebellion shaped its people, and why the fight for unity still burns today. Long before written records, Ireland was home to early settlers who left behind mysterious stone tombs. But the real foundation of Irish culture began with the arrival of the Celts around 500 BC. These tribes brought the Gaelic language, warrior societies, and a pagan religion led by Druids. Ireland was divided into small kingdoms ruled by local chiefs who were often at war. Oral tradition preserved myths, law, and history. Despite the rise of the Roman Empire, Ireland remained independent and untouched. Christianity arrived in the 4th and 5th centuries through missionaries like St. Patrick. Within 200 years, the island was predominantly Christian. But more than religion, Christianity brought literacy and education. Monasteries sprang up, recording myths, preserving classical texts, and creating masterpieces like the Book of Kells. Irish monks even traveled across Europe, helping to revive learning during the Dark Ages. In 795, a new threat arrived: Vikings. These Scandinavian raiders attacked monasteries, plundering treasure and taking slaves. Over time, they established settlements that became Ireland's first real towns. Cities like Dublin, Waterford, and Cork were born out of Viking trade and conquest. Dublin became the largest Viking slave market in Western Europe. Yet the Norse never conquered the island's interior. Gaelic chiefs held firm, and over time, many Vikings assimilated into Irish society. In 1014, the legendary High King Brian Boru led the Irish to victory at the Battle of Clontarf, breaking Viking power. But Ireland remained fragmented. That weakness opened the door to another invader. In 1169, a feuding Irish king invited Norman knights from Britain to help him win a power struggle. These knights, led by Strongbow, quickly seized territory. Alarmed by their success, King Henry II of England arrived with an army to bring Ireland under his control. Over the next decades, the Normans expanded their reach, building castles and creating lordships. However, their power was limited to the east and south. Most of Ireland remained in Gaelic hands. Over time, many Normans adopted Irish language and customs. The English crown tried to stop this blending with laws like the Statutes of Kilkenny, but they had little effect. By the 16th century, England's Tudor kings were determined to reassert control. After breaking with the Catholic Church, Henry VIII declared himself King of Ireland in 1541. His government offered Irish chiefs English titles in exchange for loyalty. Most refused. Rebellions were crushed, and conquered lands were taken in what became known as the plantations. Protestant settlers from England and Scotland were planted across Ireland, especially in Ulster. The Gaelic world collapsed after the 9 Years' War, ending in 1601 with the Battle of Kinsale. The last great Gaelic lords fled into exile in what became known as the Flight of the Earls. In their place, Protestant colonists took over. Ulster was transformed, its towns rebuilt and renamed. Derry became Londonderry. By 1640, over 30,000 British settlers had been planted in Ulster alone. Tensions boiled over in 1641. Irish Catholics launched a rebellion to reclaim land and resist Protestant rule. Violence erupted. In 1649, Oliver Cromwell arrived with a brutal military campaign. Towns like Drogheda and Wexford were massacred. Vast amounts of land were confiscated and given to his soldiers. By the 1650s, Catholics owned just 10% of Ireland's land. In the late 1600s, Catholic King James II tried to reclaim the English throne using Ireland as a base. His forces were defeated at the Battle of the Boyne in 1690. In the aftermath, Ireland's Catholic majority was stripped of basic rights. They couldn't vote, hold office, own weapons, or even inherit land. Power lay with a Protestant elite known as the Ascendancy. The 1700s brought relative stability, but continued repression. The majority Catholic population lived in poverty, while a minority ruled through the Protestant-controlled Irish Parliament in Dublin. Inspired by the American and French revolutions, a new generation of Irish nationalists demanded reform. In 1791, radicals formed the Society of United Irishmen. Their goal was to unite all Irish people, Catholic and Protestant, to achieve independence. In 1798, they launched a rebellion. It was crushed, and thousands were killed. The British government responded by dissolving the Irish Parliament and merging Ireland with Great Britain under the Act of Union in 1801. Ireland was now fully under British rule. In 1829, Catholic emancipation was achieved, allowing Catholics to sit in Parliament. But tragedy struck in the 1840s. A potato blight wiped out the main food source for millions. The British response was slow and insufficient. 1 million people died. Another million fled abroad. The Great Famine devastated Irish society. Resentment toward British rule only grew stronger. The late 1800s saw rising demands for home rule, self-government within the UK. Despite efforts, the movement stalled. In 1916, a secret group launched the Easter Rising in Dublin. Though quickly crushed, the British execution of its leaders turned public opinion. Support for full independence surged. By 1919, the Irish Republican Army launched a guerrilla war against British forces. In 1921, a treaty was signed. 26 counties became the Irish Free State, a self-governing dominion. But 6 counties in the north, with a Protestant majority, remained part of the UK. Ireland was partitioned. The treaty caused a civil war between those who accepted it and those who demanded full independence. The war ended in 1923 with victory for the pro-treaty side. Ireland remained divided. In the south, the Irish Free State slowly cut ties with Britain. By 1937, a new constitution renamed the country Ireland. In 1949, it became a fully independent republic. In Northern Ireland, Protestants dominated. Catholics faced discrimination in housing, jobs, and politics. Inspired by the civil rights movements in America, they began peaceful protests in the 1960s. These were met with violence. Riots broke out. The British Army was deployed. What followed was 3 decades of violence known as the Troubles. The Provisional IRA, Loyalist paramilitaries, and British forces fought a low-level war. Bombings, assassinations, and street battles became routine. Over 3,500 people were killed. In 1998, after years of negotiation, the Good Friday Agreement was signed. It created a power-sharing government in Northern Ireland and allowed citizens to identify as Irish, British, or both. Northern Ireland would remain in the UK unless a majority voted otherwise. Since then, peace has largely held. Northern Ireland has seen new investment and tourism. The Republic of Ireland, once one of Europe's poorest nations, experienced rapid economic growth. The island remains divided, but cooperation between North and South has increased. Ireland's past is carved in stone and written in blood, a tale of kingdoms lost, cultures revived, and a people who never stopped fighting for their identity. Divided by history, yet bound by heritage. From famine to freedom, from rebellion to peace, this island has endured it all. Thank you for watching. And if history like this moves you, don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from around the world.